we've done one of these already. I wanted to come and have another chat with you and film it. So a quick reminder, my name's Rob, I'm 45. I think I'm doing my first swim run in Coniston in September. I've never done anything like this before. This is Sam. Sam is my friend who's done loads of these before, and she's going to help me, hopefully, with some advice about how I do it. I'm going to go for this particular swim run because I like the Lake District, and it means I get a weekend in the Lake District out of it as well. But when I'm looking on the website, there's an option to do individual or team. Like, what?
Yeah.
Is that what's the team? Obviously, individual's me on my own, but what's the team option?
So team is you'd be a team of two, and
it has to be two.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So you would be together for the swim and the run. So you do the whole thing together. You'd have to be kept within about 10 metres of each other, so someone can't just like swim off and wait for you at the bank, or you run off and then wait for the other person. You've got to do it like together, and so it helps if you could draft someone on the swim if they're a little bit stronger swimmer.
What does that like?
So you would literally go behind them, so they can help guide you. But
do you not then just get them kicking in? Like, is the water that gets kicked by them, not just in your?
Yeah, I doubt they'd be kicking because they've got trainers on, so they may well not be kicking. Because if they've got a pull buoy, which I'll explain what one of those is.
Right, I need to know what one of those is.
But you just have a pull buoy between your feet, and you wouldn't kick anyway. But yeah,
you don't kick at all.
No, you can kick with some. You can. I'm not quite sure it makes that much difference though.
Okay.
But we can go through.
We'll come on to swimming at another point.
But effectively, it's doing it together. So if you've got low points, someone can carry you through, and bit of company. Or you do it on your own, but there's loads of people around anyway. So it's a real mixed bag of what people might like to do.
And if I want to do it as a team, what sort of person should I be doing? Someone who's much better than me, who can pull me through, or if there's someone weaker than me that I can find, how would I?
Well, I suppose it doesn't really matter. I think on the swim, if you've got a stronger swimmer, you could be towed.
Towed?
Yeah, so I've got a tow rope. So on that, oh, that's not it. It's in here. Well, it's here somewhere. So here is a tow rope. So that.
Like a dog.
Yeah, a bit like that. Yeah, so it's a bit like a dog collar. So that, except it goes around your waist, not around your neck.
Okay.
You don't want to be towed like that around your neck. So it would go around there, and then you would be at the other end, wherever it is.
Is it elasticated?
Yeah, so.
Oh, okay.
Hang on, that one's attached to there. So that would go around your waist.
Right. Yeah, that goes around my waist.
And they expand.
And
then you would connect
together.
that. You'd connect that to. So you'd be connected like that. So then we are a distance apart. So if I was swimming, I would still be connected to you. So if you're a bit of a weaker swimmer, you can be towed a little bit, but not like a shark towing a fisherman, because that's quite hard.
Yeah.
But it would keep you a little bit straighter as well, and you kind of still together, because you've got to stay within 10 metres of each other.
Okay.
But likewise, if you're a stronger runner, you can then tow a runner as well, if you wanted to.
Up the hills.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Should I do this? There's a sprint and a full race.
Yeah.
Like.
I think
differences.
I'd say the sprint is about half marathon, and a full is about a marathon.
Okay.
So you've got.
Sprint's not the speed; it's the length of the course.
So it's the length of the course, but generally, if you're going to go half marathon, you generally go a little bit quicker than if you're going to do a marathon.
Okay.
But that's the only difference, is that it's longer. It's the full course.
But then, in terms of the race itself, is there like anything? I've done running before. I've even done one triathlon before. But what's going to surprise me in what's different about a swim run?
Is the transitions that whereas a triathlon you'd have a little bit of time in transition. You'd take your wetsuit off, and then you'd get yourself prepared for the bike, and so you'd wear kit, I suppose, that you'd be more familiar with. Whereas on a swim run, you are literally out of the water running, finish running, back in the water. So that can be a little bit of a surprise if you've been horizontal swimming for half an hour or something, and then you've got to stand up. So you might be a little bit woozy. If the water's a little bit cold, you might feel a little bit dizzy. So you just got to give yourself a little bit of a moment to just re-establish before you get used to it. But and you're not going to be as comfortable as if you're running in just a normal pair of shorts and t-shirt. You know, a wetsuit is a little bit more restrictive.
Okay. What are the hardest bits about it? The swimming and the running?
I suppose the transition is something you've got to get used to, in and out of the water. But you're probably going to maybe attack it a little bit harder. So as you're getting into the water, you'll get into the water and probably a lot quicker than you would do on a training session, because there's just people around you. So it's like a race event, so you'll go at it a little bit harder. But I think it's just because in a wetsuit it's harder to run. You might get a little bit hot, so you're a bit more uncomfortable. But I think because it's broken up into little bits and pieces, it's all doable. If
there are any, what are the easy bits?
I suppose if you're getting too hot, you're going to go in the water, and if you're struggling on a run, you think, well, actually I've only got a K and a half, then you've got a breather. And then if you're struggling on the swim, you think, well, I'm nearly done now, I've only got 100 metres left. So it kind of breaks it up a little bit. So if you're struggling on one or the other, it doesn't last that long.
Okay. I've noticed also on the website it talks about course rules. Like what are the rules?
Yeah. It's like any race that there's the safety requirements. There'll be rules regarding if you're in a team, you've got to stay close together. You've got to run together. If you're on your own, you're going to need a float, a tow float, which is like that. So again, you put that around your waist, and then that would float behind you, so that then the safety people can see you. So that'll be in the rules to say you must have a tow float, and there'll be a race briefing that you'll need to attend, because they may, I don't know if there's a weather change, there'll be, that's changed, the route's changed a little bit, or things like this is a flag that you'll look at to get in the water. Some races have like white flags to get in on entry, and then they'll have red flags on an exit. So as you're swimming across, you'll be looking for the big red
That's what I was going to say. So how do I know, like it's quite a long course, how do I know the course, particularly if I'm swimming and I'm going over there but I'm down at that level? How do I know where to go?
Flags will be, I don't know, 15 foot high, wagging in the wind. They're big feather flags, so you'll be able to see. I think there's only one swim that you'll actually see the exit, but on Coniston you'll see the exits when you get in. But there's other people around, so you can follow. But there's safety boats. The safety boats they'll be like, if you're going to go from here to here, there'll be safety boats on the way. So if anything, you can go along by the safety boats. Them. But if you go off too far, of course, someone will retrieve you back in and usher you back on the route.
Speaking of which, what happens if I get injured on the course? There's
marshals on the course. So there's always a marshal on exit and entry on the water, and there might be some on the run as well. But the course will be marked with like little flags on the floor, so you can see them. It's not a navigation, and it's not in the middle of nowhere. There are other people around.
And other parts. Okay.
Yeah, it's all on proper footpaths with pedestrians and people.
Okay. Right, I'm getting it in terms of the event.
Yep.
So that's enough for me to think about for today, for this one. Thank you. Next time I'll come back and we'll talk about the swimming or the running or the wetsuits or something like that.
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
Okay.